Step outside.
Welcome all our audiences, and we also like to honor our ancestors and acknowledge the caretakers and the historical land people of Ogapoge Owinga here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So with that, I'd like to say we are really grateful tonight to have Dakota Beavers on.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Dakota Beavers, a prodigious talent from Arizona, has captivated audiences with his extraordinary acting, guitar, and vocal prowess since he was 13 years old. And his craft is profoundly influenced by his rich cultural background. And he merges his Native American and Mexican roots from his mother's side with the Scottish and English heritage from his father's. This cultural amalgamation lends a unique depth and perspective to his work, transforming his artistic endeavors into a symbol of unity and shared values. Dakota's journey is more than a showcase of his singular talent. It is a celebration of the diverse traditions that enrich our communities. Through his music, Dakota encourages us to embrace the beauty of our collective heritage, promoting a sense of pride and unity. So let's get started, Dakota. Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Tosh. Well, as you know, I'm Dakota Beavers. I grew up in northern Arizona. I was born in like Thunderbird Hospital in Phoenix, but we moved like immediately up to the north, and that's where I spent pretty much my entire childhood. And for those of you guys who don't really know Arizona, most of people, when they think of Arizona, they think, it's hot and brown and kind of barren desert. But up in the north, we get a lot of snow. There's a lot, beautiful pine trees, biggest ponderosa pine forest in the whole world. And lots of elevation. I lived at about 7,000 feet where I grew up, and it was beautiful. It was a little town, and a lot of a lot of the kids in my school, they really, kids in a small town, they don't really like it because they feel like there's nothing to do. But for me, there was when you got the untouched wilderness, it's like you have everything to do. It was just so much fun for me. I was blessed with a really uh, good childhood, and so I got to spend a lot of times with my family or by myself, just kind of roaming around the woods and just taking in all that beautiful creation. It's just like it's something that was majorly a part of me and my soul and my mind and kind of how I dealt with things. And fast forward growing up, getting a little bit older, I my dad played music, so I would go watch him play music at little places in town and little places around Arizona. And me and my brother would go and watch and listen to him sing, and we'd sing along sometimes. Um, and he kind of realized one day while we were sitting there that we were singing harmony with him. I didn't really like. I kind of knew what I was doing, but I didn't know it was harmony. And so he thought to himself, "Hey, this is pretty cool." So from that point on, our you know the regularity of my childhood kind of changed. Um, and we started working a lot, not because we were forced to, but because we wanted to, because, playing music is fun. And so me and my brother got jobs. I used to play music on this train called the Grand Canyon Railway. I got my first job when I was 13. I'm pretty sure it was illegal, but they gave the checks to my brother, so nobody needed to know about it. So I played music to tourists for years on that train, and then we lived on Route 66, well, close to Route 66, and there's all these little like music joints you can play at, and so we would play up and down 66 all throughout my childhood. So from 13 on, we were just really busy with music, and um, and then from then on, we started playing more and more, and people started liking it more and more. So we kind of felt led in ourselves to move to Nashville after it was my last year of high school, and and so we went out to Nashville to try and pursue that. And so I was there for a few years, and all the while, while working hard, I always had this desire to act within me too. And you know, I really didn't know how that was supposed to work though, because I didn't know anything about that. I kind of knew music, through my dad. Like I kind of knew how stuff kind of worked. And then as we went to Nashville and we met people, we kind of figured out how the music industry worked. Um, some things that we didn't like about it, and some things that, were kind of cool. Um, and while we were over there pursuing music, had an opportunity to send in an audition just off of an Instagram post, and that ended up turning into to be this amazing role in this movie Prey, which some of you might have seen. Um, and that was just an incredible experience for me. And so now it's kind of been, you know, a roller coaster of different things going on, and uncertainties, but it, it's been a strange ride, this life of mine, but I'm certainly happy to be here and happy to be talking to you guys today. It's pretty exciting.
Thank you for sharing that. That is
My pleasure.
very, I would say, I'm looking for a word, so I'm just going to say inspirational.
Oh,
A
thank
lot of
you.
people get caught up in Wi-Fi and the world of electronics and snap, 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 gas station right there, store there, post office, doctors, da da da. Everything's just like now people aren't even going to that stuff. They're doing it on phones and everything. So it's nice to meet some country guys, you know. I think
Oh,
that's
thank
really
you.
cool. Yeah, I think that's very honorable. And I think we all need to go back to that. I really think it would make us
Mm,
just calm down as a five-fingered species. You know what I
me
mean?
too. Me
So
too.
thank you for sharing that. So where do you get
Oh, my
your
pleasure.
inspiration musically? I know you said your father played, but what did he play? Did he do cover tunes? Did he write his own music? Or did you have some
Yeah,
bands or various genres? Or tell us a little bit about your musical background.
yeah. So, obviously I got lots of guys that I like to listen to growing up, but I would be, sorry, pop my neck here. I would be I would be lying if I didn't say my dad didn't have a big inspiration on me. He started writing songs when he was like 15 years old. Um, he's pretty much the heavy lifter when it comes to like writing a lot of the music that we write. I mean, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll bring him an idea or an inspiration or a verse that I've written or a progression, and I'll bring that to him, and then he'll lay down some more stuff. So he started writing when he was 15. He was playing in church and stuff, and he loved country music, man. He was that guy in the snakeskin boots and jeans, rolling into the parking lot cranking Dwight Yoakam, So like that's kind of where he brought the inspiration into my life. So I loved guys like Dwight Yoakam. But I kind of had a cool merge of tastes, like from my mom's side and my dad's side. Like I had with the money that I got off the train, playing music on the train as a kid, I was able to buy a car, um, which is pretty great. I mean, I bought it when I was like 15. I couldn't even drive it yet, so I used to just go sit out in the parking lot and just sit in my car. Um, and But it had one of those 5 CD changers in it, and I had a weird mix. I had George Strait in there. I had Dwight Yoakam. I had Stray Cats. This is my mom's side, and the Beach Boys. That was kind of my grandpa, but I like the Beach Boys. And then I had Selena Quintanilla, like um, you know, Como la Flor and all that stuff. So obviously that's more my mom's side, but I crank them all, man, and I just loved it. So I got a nice spectrum from both sides. There's one thing I love about the Southwest. Like you got, like obviously everybody lives there now, but like where I lived, my little town, we had, your white people, your natives, and your Mexicans, and we all, everybody was mixed, you know, and if you weren't, your cousin was, and so you got different, you got different stuff coming from all different directions, and to me, man, it makes good food, it makes interesting stories, it makes good looking kids, I think. Uh, but those mixed kids are always so cute. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's kind of my inspirations.
Yeah, that sounds great. I love that. I love that. It sounds
Thank
like
you.
very grassrootsy, just right now going with your creative process and hopefully having like quick voice downloaded on your phone. So when that
Yeah,
inspiring lick comes in, you can just hit record and go, "Blah," and then save it and then
totally.
save it for your jam session. I mean, that's brilliant. Back in the
Thank
day
you.
when Hank Williams and Merle Haggard and those guys were doing that, man, they probably wrote on napkins with their wife's
I
lipstick if
know.
they had to, you know what I mean? They were like totally, however they did it, right? They had to write their songs.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, we're really looking forward to hearing you on May 3rd, you and your band. So
Thank you.
I'd like to you to talk a little bit about your acting. How did you get into acting, and what does that look like? And what would you tell the people that want to do it? I believe in intergenerational. I think people put a lot of emphasis on youth, 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 and I think it's great. Everybody gets to be young one time, but if we're lucky, we
Yeah.
get to keep living and get older, and it becomes more of an intergenerational
Amen.
experience as well as an
Totally.
intercultural experience, as you just recently talked about. So, talk about the acting for us, for anybody that's interested to getting into it.
Totally. So acting, like I said, was something that I really felt in my soul, like I wanted to do it, but I also felt like I needed to do it. And you know, that can like it always sounds silly when when you like beforehand, before you've done the thing that you wanted to do. It might sound silly to some people to think, oh, lots of people want to act, it's but do they really want to act, Um, but I really kind of felt this need down in my heart. And I honestly, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, because, I was in music, I didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. And I used to talk to my dad, like there was a conversation we had about 3, 4 months before I got the movie, Prey, the big one. And, and I was like, Pops, do you think this is dumb for me wanting this? I just feel this I just feel like I, I I just need to do this. And he's like, no, I don't think it's dumb at all. I think it's something that you could do. But he goes, but the what I want you to do is to be thankful for what you have in the moment, and to like say your prayers and put it out there what you want, but be thankful for what you have today, and try to take the meaning and the menial things that you have day to day to do, and be thankful for that. And if it comes tomorrow, great, but if it comes in 10 years, great. Then that's something that he kind of really instilled into my soul, my family. And so I put it out there, I said my prayers, and then I just left it there. And I tried to find meaning in just the everyday, which is hard sometimes. I worked at TJ Maxx um before I got the movie. And while I worked with some nice people, I felt like, some days you feel like, man, I just feel like my gifts aren't being used. And all the while I'm working at TJ Maxx, we're playing music at nights at, you know, different places in town, some really cool places. And, we'll take a trip to Savannah sometimes and play at some places out there. We'll take a trip out to Kentucky and play up there, like just different stuff's going on. But I always come back to TJ Maxx, and so I just told myself, I want to make myself the best guy that I can be in this job right now. So I just tried to pour myself into that job and just try to bring joy to the ladies who were coming through. We were kind of near a retirement community, so we had a lot of older ladies coming through. You had some suburban mamas, but I would just try to pour myself into their lives. I'd ask them about how they're doing. I'd ask them about their grandkids, ask them about their day. And before you know it, these sweet old ladies are coming by and bringing you cookies and buying you tacos, and it just touches your heart to the core because you made a difference in somebody's life. And yeah, maybe I'm not, you know, on the big screen and I'm not making much money, but I helped somebody today feel better. And then one day there was a casting call on Instagram. There was this guy I followed on Instagram for some other show. It wasn't Prey. It was something else. And I said, "Hey, Pops, do you think I should send him my picture and my name and height and stuff and my background?" And he said, "Yeah, worst case, they just don't answer or they say no." And so I did. And I didn't hear nothing back for a while. And then all of a sudden I got an audition for this other show that was right pre-COVID, and it got squashed. That show never got made, so I didn't hear anything. And I was like, well, maybe I just won't hear nothing, and I'll just wait and I'll just do my thing. Then, I don't know, a year later, I got an email out of the blue, and it was an audition for Prey. Still didn't know what it was, but um, I sent in the audition, and I did. I broke all the rules of like how you're supposed to do an audition, just because I didn't know how you even did an audition. I just sent in a video, and I literally did not know that it was like, co-starring until they told me that I got the role. I thought I was going to be Comanche number 4, um, and so it just goes to show, like, anything can happen at any time. Just be brave and put yourself out there, and you're gonna fail. You're gonna have embarrassing things happen to you, but it just takes that one time, and meanwhile, take joy in those small menial moments and try to rub off on the people around you in a good way.
That sounds like you got it going on, and you're
Oh,
onto
thank you.
a very good start. And
Thank you.
so you've done Pray. Since you did Pray, does that mean you got an agent, or you already got joined into SAG or any of that kind of stuff?
So, like, having been like starting with such a great, like, a movie, um like, a lot of times when you like want to get your SAG card, you have to get like a certain number of credits. But if you like co-star in like a bigger movie, a lot of times they'll forego the normal amount of credits because they consider this one a larger credit. So I was able to join SAG, which was awesome. and I was, like, I was so green coming onto the movie. This is, the kind of stuff that normally people don't tell you, but I talk too much. But
It's all
like,
good. Tell
normally,
us more.
normally they'll send you a contract, right? And then like you negotiate like money and all this other stuff, like what all is going to go down. I didn't have an agent at the time. And also, I was like, I don't want to screw this opportunity. So I just kind of signed it, without knowing a whole lot about what was going on. And because literally, you got this kid from out in the country in Arizona, um, and all this, you give him a cajillion-dollar movie, and not cajillion dollars for me, but cajillion dollars for them. Let's get that straight. I didn't get paid like a whole bunch of money on this or anything, unfortunately. But um, there's a lot of stuff you don't know. But luckily, I was blessed with some nice people, like Jane Myers. She's the producer. She's a wonderful, beautiful Comanche lady. If you guys don't know her, look her up, and you won't regret it. She's just an amazing lady. She kind of took me in up there, like a second mama or an auntie. I call her Paha, which means auntie in Comanche. And she, watched out for me. And then the director, Dan Trachtenberg, um, fantastic guy. Like, he was just so, like, to a guy who don't know nothing about making movies, but who has a vision, for his character and for who he thinks this guy should be. I mean, the guy listened to me. Like, if he was anybody else, he probably would have told me to shut my yap. But he listened to the stuff that I had to say, and that touched my heart to the soul, to the core, And I'm forever grateful to that guy for choosing me and for giving me this chance and for hearing what I had to say in something that, you know um, that was so big. Um, and then, through all these opportunities, and these nice people, they like Dan hooked me up with an agent, so now I have an agent to kind of a manager, which is kind of the same thing but a little bit different, um, to kind of help me get auditions and stuff. And so that's been an interesting process post movie, kind of getting auditions and trying out for new stuff, and also, just exploring lots of different avenues.
What what does it feel like? Because I mean, since before the silent movies, it was vaudeville, and there was traveling shows, and then some big outfit opened in Oklahoma, and a bunch of different types of like rodeo shows and native their showcases like back then. I mean, Sitting Bull.
Yeah, like Wild West shows.
Yeah, Molly. I forget her name. My good friend's aunt. Back in the day, those guys did all that kind of stuff, and then it's moved on.
Yeah,
And for lack of a better word, a lot of people flock for that social media, that attention, that I want to go out and be a movie star. I want to go out and win an Academy Award. I want to make a
yeah.
Grammy album. I want to. And they got all these other people wanting to do the same thing. So is there a little sense of intimidation in that? Or do you feel like, man, I got all you guys beat because I'm better than you all and I know how to act and I'm going to get this part? Where do you stand on that spectrum in terms of like your
You,
confidence? Is it natural, or are you kind of like, oh man, I'm a country boy, I don't know what's up? Or what, how does that feel?
well, there's a natural level of nerves. Like everybody got it. I mean, I say I might have been a little more confident than the average kid, but I was still nervous, man, growing up. Like I still have tendencies. Like if that the regular Joe might not see them on first glance, but I could point them out in interviews on YouTube and tell you, little nervous things that I do. Um,
Hmm.
for me, it's usually I find more nerves in small social crowds. Like playing music growing up, it kind of gave me this wall that I could put up when I was um when I was performing. So I would much rather play music in front of 5,000 people than go to a house party. You know, that's less nervous. That makes me less nervous. Or I would rather go film a movie, where they're filming every little thing you do, than go to a house party. I'm kind of like those house parties, man. I'll still go, but like you'll probably see me in the corner, nervously sipping my sparkling water, and if you look under my jacket, I'll probably have an armpit stain on my t-shirt because I'm sweating. Um, I don't know why, but one thing, like when it comes to like the competitiveness about everything, I want everybody to do good at the end of the day. I don't relish in watching a lot of times even my enemies like fail, because I know what it's like to be embarrassed, man. I know what it's like to do the wrong thing and wish you hadn't have done it. You know, I want everybody to do good. Like I'm not gonna lie. I wanted the role, but I was okay not to get it. It was down to me and another guy who was on the movie who's since been successful as well, and he's a beautiful friend of mine, and I would have been happy to see him, you know, get my role and I get his role. You just kind of have to. I just kind of look at things like if I'm meant to get it, I'll get it, and if I'm not it, I'm not. And you know, um, I think there's good things about competition, but if it makes you be a bad person or makes you make other people feel bad, it's not really something I'm interested in.
Good. I'm really, really glad to hear that, because I believe that being nice is reciprocal. So if I'm
Yeah, me
nice to
too.
me, then I'm going to be nice to the teller at the bank and the line. I'm going to be nice to the person that cuts me off on the highway. I'm going to be nice
Totally.
to somebody that's mean to me because they're not
Yeah,
happy. I'm not always successful, but that's always the goal, because
I'm right.
That's the
I'm
way it
right
should
there with
be.
you. That's one thing I noticed, just kind of going off on a olive branch here, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But
Okay.
um yeah, one thing I noticed, like in the movie, they have this like big call sheet, and like on our show, we had um like you have like 300-400 people on set at a time, um, and which just blew my mind. Like I knew there's gonna be a lot of people, but you go out to the parking lot, which is like a field, and it's just an ocean of cars. But there's like this hierarchy of people on the list, and they always treat the actors well. But one thing I really learned in that show is I would want to pay attention to the way people treated like the grips, or the, like the people who were like lower on the list. If they were nice to me and mean to those other people, that really didn't jive with me. And I feel the same way, just kind of, you want people to be good to people, whatever you do.
You know what, Dakota? Thank you for saying that. You know why? I am so with you. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds when I step outside and see people that are not as fortunate as others. And
Yeah.
it just tears me up. I wrote a song about it, as a matter of fact. It's how I can never quite grow the leather skin that some people grow, and seeing that, sadness,
Yeah.
hardships, and people suffering. And I don't know if I've always been like that way or not. My mom's on the show. I could say, Mom, was I like that when I was a kid? I don't know. She would know. But I'm glad you hold that. And I hope that 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, when you're seasoned and hardened up and got some calluses happening on you and all that kind of stuff, that you still hold that, because
Thank
that's
you.
what that's what makes you authentic. That's what makes you
Thank
real.
you.
That's what makes you beautiful. Because when the body goes and time happens, all we have is the beauty in here. And that's all we can share with
Yeah.
people. And I see that with elders all the time. In fact, I'm one now too.
Mhm.
Some people have that glitter in their eyes, and it's just like I see that, and
Yeah,
I want that. I want that. So
totally.
thank you for saying that.
Totally.
So you talked
Oh,
about your agent
pleasure.
already. And you have an agent manager, so grateful for that. And what do you really hope to accomplish with your acting career? And then I'm gonna step back into the music. So let's talk about your acting
Sure.
career. What do you vision? Do you manifest? What do you pray for?
Yeah, I pray for, like, I liked, like, obviously, I take each opportunity as it comes, and I'll examine it. And you know, you're presented with interesting opportunities, like in this business. Like, this has kind of been, I don't want to call it a dry season, but there was this 100-day strike or whatever it was. Right, there was this writer's strike and then an actor's strike, kind of right after the movie came out. And so that killed a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and kind of slowed things down, myself included. Um, and then there's been opportunities that come my way that, that looked like it might work out and then didn't work out. And then also sometimes you're presented with projects that you just, you turn down. And it kind of hurts. Like, well, it hurts in some ways. Like, you're like, man, I wish I could, keep this ball rolling, and make some more films, and provide for your family, because we live in this monetary world, and sometimes you want to pay the bills. you know um but also, I always think back to, what does it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his soul? Like, if you lose your integrity by doing things that you don't believe in, um how are you going to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day? And so, I've gotten some stuff that I thought, I feel like the world is better off without this. And especially, I don't want to put my name on it, or my face on it. So I'm interested mostly, in projects that have the potential of lifting people up or lifting certain issues up. Now, that doesn't mean I always want to play the good guy, which I love to play the good guy, and I'd like to play the good guy as long as I can. But if it's a project where I can play a really good bad guy, and there's something in the film that makes people think about something that could make the world better. You know, I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in interesting people and interesting characters. Like as long as it's real, and like I feel like the core value of the show is not going to drag down humanity or push people into doing things that could be worse. I'm interested in interesting people. And we'll see where that takes us. We'll see what comes down the pipe next. But that's usually what's in my mind when I'm looking at like these auditions and different things like that.
This is so fascinating, and I know I want to spend some time on the music, but I've got another question about the acting.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch movies, have you ever had an opportunity to, because you said this acting just kind of fell in your lap. So, like in film school, studying the first train coming in on the screen, the Eastman Kodak, and then the silent film, and then how that all got going, and then into the talkies and how that came into the scene, and then all these studios and how that came into scene, and how that whole genre just changed. It started with women, powerful women, and then it moved into being taken over by some really powerful men, and then it just kind of turned into what it turned into, and it's been through an evolution. Who are some of your actors that you aspire to be like? Because I mean, some of those old actors, like the Clark Gables and the Marlon Brandos,
Yeah.
do you like any of those guys, or do they inspire you?
Yeah. I grew up watching a lot of older movies, like going back to like John Wayne and Humphrey Bogart days. And then, like, but then like, like obviously you got your 80s and your 90s flicks, that aren't really old, but they're older now.
Like Matt Dillon.
Um, eh, yeah, yeah, and like even watching like old shows, like, my grandpa, he liked all those old Western TV shows, like, the Rifleman and like, Laramie and all this stuff, so I got to, peek into those worlds as well.
Mhm.
Um, one thing that I always was drawn to, and I don't know why, but I don't know, maybe it's the music, but I was always interested in actors who had a voice. And like you go back in time, even just 15 years, 15, 20 years, it was more about character and voice than it was like now, some what I've found to be more popular, which sometimes I struggle with while auditioning for some of these things. It's, right now that and this is no insult to her, but kind of that Billie Eilish, like, like, and this once again, this is not a slight to her, but like that kind of I'm too cool to have emotions, like everything's real, like, which is cool, that's why she's so huge. Um, but you go back and you listen to the way Harrison Ford delivers a line or Mel Gibson delivers a line, and they just got this they got a little bit of gravel in their voice, or Sam Elliott, like look at that guy's voice, my gosh. And there's this gravitas, and there's what me and my dad call melody in the line. And
Mhm.
one thing that I mess with when I'm trying to bring this character to life that somebody else wrote, and I have my own vision of it or whatever, is I want to hear the melody in their delivery, because melody is what keeps people interesting. That's the reason why, like, you have these lines that that like rule pop culture, like, with like the Predator, get to the chopper. Like, you think if he said get to the chopper, if you, that wouldn't have this, it's because it's, it's Austrian uh Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's, he can't say his R's, and but it was a voice. It was a moment in time that people still live with this today. Or even that guy, I ain't got time to bleed, like like there's so like it was about that individual character and that individual voice. I was always drawn to voice,
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart, he had a voice. John Wayne, he had a voice. Mel Gibson, even guys like Robert Downey Jr. Well, maybe
Good.
you won't think of him in the same way as you think of Humphrey Bogart, but because his voice isn't like super deep and gravelly, but he's got a voice, and it's this gravitas, this thing that draws you to him in his way of speaking, and it's melody. That's what I was into.
Yeah. Yeah. Marlon Brando, man, he's got an interesting kind of a nasal tone, a high nasal
Yeah.
tone. He just talks like his most beautiful lips I've ever seen on a man. And he's so beautiful. He was so beautiful,
Hmm.
some of his earlier stuff. But
Totally.
some of the people I really like in terms of acting and style and variety is Marlene Dietrich and Joan Crawford. I know she had a complicated situation with a stepdaughter I read about when I was a kid still, but man, she's a good actor, So, but yeah, let's
Yeah.
like for about 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes. Let's talk about your music real quick. So I had a list
Totally.
of questions and I didn't actually ask you hardly any of them because you pretty much have answered them. So
Oh, good.
we got somebody on the phone saying to you, Dakota, you would try voice acting as well. You would kill it. Yeah, you got a great voice. So
Thank you.
just a quick acapella, just like a chorus of one country song you guys have. Just like right, just you. Can you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay, what would
Brace
something
us.
good be?
Yeah, it's up to you. It can be a cover. It can be one of your favorite cover, or it can be your own favorite chorus. Go for
Okay, there was a cool song Don Williams did back in the day. Um, I really liked I really liked just the lyrics of it. He goes, how does it start? He goes, I ain't gonna marry in the fall. I ain't gonna marry in the spring, but I'm in love with a pretty little girl who wears a diamond ring. And he goes on to say, um, how does it? He goes, it's basically saying, you know, I don't have the money like these guys. You know, I don't have the diamond ring. I don't have all this stuff. But the last lyric of the chorus goes, but I've got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun.
it.
And I'm just like, God, like what a line. Silver in the stars, but gold in the morning sun. You know, I like I wouldn't classify myself as a ladies man. I'm not into going around with lots of different lots of different people, but I've had a moment where I was with a lovely lady, and we were hanging out, and we were sitting on the back of the car, and I was playing some tunes, and it
Mhm.
was at nighttime by this big open field, and you get right to the tag of that song,
Right.
and you have that moment where you pause, and we're up there and we're looking at the stars, and right as you hit that tag and you hit that pause, and a shooting star shoots across the sky right in that very moment. I think about moments like that, and we both go, because it's just at the perfect moment. And while the rich boy can buy them lots of things and take them lots of fancy places, how do you orchestrate something like that? I've got silver in the stars and gold in the morning sun.
Teach them through the songs, man. That's so cool. Thank you very much. And then
Thank you.
the last question we have time for is Sophia is asking you, can you talk more about the Mexican influences you had growing up? Has any of it inspired your music? And let's give that about 3 minutes.
Totally. So like being in Arizona, like Mexican music, and just like Hispanic music in general was like a big part of me. Like I love Santana, obviously, like who doesn't? You know, growing up, I listened to a lot of Santana. You know, Malo Suavecito. That's a good tune. Selena, man. You know, that movie came out like, you know, I don't want to date myself here, but I think it might have come out the year I was born. So that was big. You know, because that movie was on all the time, and so I watched that all the time. So I had that CD cranking in my you know little blazer all the time. Um, Also, um, I had I had this CD player when I was in grade school, and I used to carry it around until one day I got a little bit older and I got upgraded to this little like cheap MP3 player we got at Walmart, and it was like yellow and black. And I was looking for some more like Latino, like some tunes, man. So I went to Bookman's. I don't know if you guys have been to Bookman's, uh, but it's like this kind of secondhand place over in Arizona. I'm sure they got other places too, but it's kind of gone more mainstream now, but it's still cool. And I went looking and I found a Mark Anthony CD, and it was a good one, man. I don't know his stuff that well, but this particular album that I got as a boy, you know, they had like, Da La Vuelta on there, and like, you know, the Spanish version of I Need to Know Dimelo or something. And there was just lots of good tunes on there, man. And I like just those minor progressions of Latin music really kind of penetrated my soul back then, and so that kind of bleeds its way into a lot of our own tunes. Um, so it's been a massive influence. But yeah, I spent a lot of time jamming. Turn it over to the Spanish channel on the radio, cruising around. Just lots of lots. There was a lot of mixed music in my house growing up, but that was a big part of it.
Well, I really appreciate you. From what I'm hearing, and I hope I'm hearing correctly, what you said is that when you see a line and it's spoken, there's prosody, there's rhythm,
Yeah,
there's melody, there's music, like what I'm doing right now. There's a beat, 1, 2, 3. That's really a beautiful way to look at language. And that's what I love about Spanish, Mexican, Latine music. So that's wonderful. So the last question we have time for is our theme this year at our programming is ancestrality. They whisper me through. Can you think about that for just a moment and I'll repeat it? Ancestrality. They whisper me through.
yeah. No,
What do questions?
that's an intriguing statement. That's something I think about a lot. Like if you think about one person and, they had two parents, and then their parents had two parents each, and then so on and so forth. That is a lot of people that had to make sure they were alive, for you to be like in existence. And like just the fact that you even exist is just incredible. Holy smokes. Sorry about that. That's my dog. 1 second.
Yeah, so yeah, it's all about ancestors and that we're not alone. Yeah, that's great. Okay, did you
Sorry
want
about
to finish up
that.
your thought? No worries. Hey, dogs are great,
This
cats
is
are great, roosters, chickens, hens. We
Raven.
love it. Sheep, bats, all beautiful, man. Anyways, did you want to
Totally.
finish the question or do you want us to move on?
Yeah, no, I just the idea of all these people coming together, to make sure that, like these people lived and thrived, or lived and survived, and and now I am just because of that. Um, it's an amazing thing to think about. There's a lot of people who made you you, you know. It's fascinating.
Beautiful. Love our ancestors. Don't know them, but we're here. So thank you for that. I am going to thank you, Dakota. You are beautiful in your heart, got a beautiful mind, and you're attractive. But really, what counts is
Thank you.
Don't let that stuff go, okay? I don't care how far, how big, how
Thank you so
small
much.
you succeed, how much you fail. Keep that beautiful thing inside of you called the beauty way, Hojong, and you will thrive.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna turn it
I
over to
appreciate that so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dakota, and blessing us with that wonderful medicine. You can, if you're not already a fan or you've got Instagram, please like, subscribe at Dakota underscore Beavers, and then you'll find out more about him. Dakota, thank you so much. Also, just so many things that you said just really hit on point. And I love the last question with your four-legged saying, hey, remember me. And then thank you too for bringing Jane Myers into the circle as well. She was one of the funders through the Native American Advice Fund, through the Santa Fe Community Foundation, helping us with our series, our Indigenous Ways festival series and funding with that. So I'm glad she was played auntie because she's so great at heart. And that's what it's all about, and what you mentioned, how we give it back so generously. So I'm going to go into a little commercial break, and then I'm going to be quick because I know a lot of people have got a lot of questions for you. But we do this every month, third Wednesday of each month. Next month, May the 15th, same time, same place, same channel. We've got the beautiful Mimi Gonzalez. She is a comedian. She will also be at our June festival, but she will be here and sharing the circle with her incredible wisdoms and amazing things that she has been doing. And then in the next 48 hours, you'll have, if you want to hear more from Dakota, his video will be available at our website, as there are over 200 presenters in our video library since we hosted the virtual events, including the Wisdom Circle and the concert series since April the 1st, 2020. So thank you so much for that and all that is and what we're doing. If you want to find out more, you can go to our website, which is IndigenousWays.org, just above me. And you can find all of that information there. If you want to go on to our newsletter, find out what we've been up to, what we're up to, who's coming on to the show, you'll be on the database there. So please subscribe to our newsletters. And also darting below me, you'll see all our social pages, social media pages. So please, if you're looking now, like our page, subscribe to them, and share with your friends, especially if you're viewing in one of them. It helps us a great deal. I want to give a big shout out to our wonderful board members who are on board now. Hey, Michelle Redman, Homer Hubble, Judy Shapiro, and Nicole Oxendine. Thank you to our sponsors, including the National Endowments of the Arts, the City of Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department, and also the Santa Fe Community Foundation, who have made this program accessible, free, and as you can see, the beautiful Chris Esiano Garcia, who is our interpreter, as well as Mariah Garcia, who was interpreting before, making access available to all. Very appreciative of all of you making this possible. So mark your calendars, which will be June the 8th, which is a Saturday. We've got this beautiful Indigenous Ways Festival happening. You can go online to register, whether you're in person, because it's happening in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we are, or if you can't do that, we're also broadcasting live. So please register so you can get that. We've got the beautiful Destiny, who is on board at the moment. She's been behind the scene with RTM / Open Tomorrow, the amazing team back there, making all of these amazing things happen. And as we've been talking about, coming up this just around the corner in 2 weeks, Friday, May the 3rd, we have our first series down at the Santa Fe Rail Yard Park, which is by Site Santa Fe. If you're here, we've got ASL interpreters. We've got three amazing bands, kicking off with WesternBoy, which is Dakota Beavers' wonderful family, a trio who will be blessing us. And you also had a little snippet of his gorgeous vocals, and then you blend them all together. Absolutely magic. They'll be kicking it off, uh, followed up by Citizen, a wonderful Arizonan band from the Navajo Nation, brother or sister, rock punk. And then finishing off the evening is a beautiful band from Flagstaff, Coyotes, wonderful reggae. So they're kicking off the season. We've also got artisan vendors, food vendors, lots of activities for the kids, face painting, circus, all of that great stuff, and food. So it's all free. So just come and join us and celebrate because we can. And then, as I mentioned before, the beautiful destinies here. We've got our website, which is had a facelift. We'd love you to go and check it out. It's just up here, IndigenousWays.org. And then just tell us what you think. There's some really great info of what we've been doing. And yeah, very, very exciting stuff. And then, too, to make this possible, if you're able to donate, please go to our website, or you can PayPal, Venmo, or our snail mail, which is at Indigenous Ways, P.O. Box 4073, Santa Fe, New Mexico 87502. And on that great note, what's going on is we're going to invite everyone to come back in. Come back in. This is that wonderful time where you get an opportunity to say hi to Dakota. And if you've got any questions or anything like that, now's the time. So while people are coming in, hey, Donna, great to see you. Donna and Christina are in Ohio. Have you got anything you want to share, check in, or just say hi to the beautiful Dakota? Okay, that's good. Tash, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in this evening, and great job on the new website to our team, Destiny and Juliana and RTM. And we're very, very grateful for the support we have from our beautiful board members. And I see Nicole wants to say something. Hey, Nicole, what's up?
No, I'm just ready to ask questions when we get there.
Go for it. You got plenty of time. Go for it.
Okay, great. Dakota, it's just so wonderful to hear you, and thank you so much. And as a mother of some 20-somethings myself, it's so wonderful to see your generation just stepping into the sunlight and shining out into the broader communities. Thank you for that. It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Would love to ask you, what you have to share. I think that there will be other young people that are guided to find this recording later, and any thoughts that you have to share about stepping into non-native spaces, representing our Indigenous and mixed blood peoples, how that's been for you, and lessons you might have to share.
One thing I'm kind of always big on is don't feel like one thing Tosh said earlier, you don't have to make everything happen when you're 20. Like obviously if that happens that way, then that's wonderful, and that's a good thing, and that was meant to be. Don't put the pressure on yourself to make everything happen by the time you're 25, because life happens, man, and like different stuff happens for different reasons, and like with these things, with social media, with, you know, like every screen that we have in the house, you know, we got TVs, we got iPads, we got these things, we got watches now. Well, I don't have the watch. I like the old ones, but you know, we got watches that vibrate and tell us what's going on now. Um, it's easy to feel like, oh, everybody's doing so good except for me. Um, you know, and you know, maybe that's a drum a lot of people have been beaten, and maybe it's becoming passe to young people, but it's, you know, a lot of times people say things often because they're true. Um, don't feel like you got to make everything happen. Just let life happen, work hard, enjoy the menial things. And then the next thing you know, you're doing something amazing. And, or you might like with me, you know, like I was blessed to get a really, a cool thing happen to me. But then, like I said, you know, there's these strikes, there's different things that happen. And so, you know, sometimes, you know, even I can feel like, why didn't things take off more? Why haven't I gotten more work? Um, you know, if we sit there wondering why so often, it'll keep us from flourishing. And so just be patient with yourselves. Don't compare yourselves to other people. You're your own you. You know, everybody, like in sports, you always hear he's the next Michael Jordan, he's the next LeBron James. Just be the first you, man. And
Right on.
however long that takes, let it be.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Destiny, real quick, what's up? Our niece, Destiny. Woohoo.
What's up, Tosh? Dakota, thank you so much for hopping on. I'm hoping that I can make it out to DC to come and see you perform, but it's probably not going to happen. But
Dang.
I like how you mentioned how humble you are. I think as a young person, I'm only 26 years old. It's so important to be humble. So,
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for watching tonight. It's so nice to digitally meet you.
yes.
Thank you so much, Destiny. We love you. And real quick, Miss, say hi because we gotta let everybody go have their dinner. What's up, Miss?
Hi, hello. So wonderful to hear you and see you, Dakota. And looking forward to May 3rd IndigenousWays Festival in Santa Fe. So I'm just really excited about that. And I wanted to hear about your collaboration with your band. I saw you last fall at Regal Park in Santa Fe, and you guys were just terrific. So will you be playing again with family members, or and what are the different participants that you'll have in your band?
Yeah, so I play with my brother and my dad. They don't look anything like me. I look like a milkman baby. Well, I look like my mom, but so my brother kind of takes after my dad's side, and my dad obviously takes after his dad, his side. um, uh, and so I'll be playing with them, which is just so much fun. Um, uh, my dad plays the bass. He does a lot of the writing. He sings the baritone, which is like the lower harmony. My brother plays the mandolin, sings the higher harmony. We got some new music we're trying out, even some, you know, a new instrument for a couple songs. So that should be fun. We're just keeping it the trio for now, but it's going to be a good time, and I'm really looking forward to playing as well as hearing the other acts too. It should be a good time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing the interaction between the band there. Because to me, that's the funnest part, is just to see how the band is interacting with each other, and just, you know, just bouncing off each other in the way they're playing, and how it all comes together. So just, I'm so happy that you're here, and look forward to seeing you then. Okay.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Leah.
that, Michelle. Thank you, Dakota. And I've got some really tragic
Thank you.
news. That's it. We're at the top of the hour. I want to thank each and every
Oh,
one of you for your time and blessing us in this sacred electronics circle. I also want to thank those that are in the Zoom, the social media, our ASL interpreters, Mariah Garcia, Crescesiano Garcia, making access available for all our sponsors. And don't forget, put in your calendars, May 15th, the third Wednesday is the beautiful Mimi Gonzalez. If you want to find out more and you're unable to be here for the beautiful Dakota and WesternBoy, sign up because you're to our website with the May IndigenousWays Festival, because you can see the live broadcast of it if you can't be there in person. And you've already heard what he sounds like. And then you got the cacophony of the harmonies and all the strings. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And on that beautiful note, please, let's give it up for the one and only Dakota Beavers!
Dakota Beavers! Woo! All right. You got some
Thank
fans.
you.
Touch the earth. Feel the rain. Touch the earth, touch the